welcome to Old Faithful. I'm your host, Grace Trask. Thanks to Steve and Jay here at Perfect Wave Productions for all their help making us look good. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel and please share this video if you like it. And please support our friends at Black Hills Blend Espresso with 4 convenient locations here in Rapid City. So today our guest is, Matt Trask. I'm excited to learn more about him.
Hi.
So tell us with emphasis about your musical journey. What was your first guitar?
First of all, thank you so much for hosting. I love my show. So, I am Matt Trask. I was born in 1978, and it all began, Grace, when I was a little boy down there in Texas.
Shut up. You are not from Texas.
I cannot remember not wanting to play guitar. I literally cannot remember that. And I'm going to always wish that I was a better guitar player. I will never be the guitar player that I wanted to be. Now, so I grew up out by Wasta, South Dakota, and Mom and Dad had a record player. And I may have this memory wrong, but as I remember it, they had a record that was Guitar Masters, or it called something like that. And Chet Atkins was on one side, and Andrei Segovia was on the other. Now, it may have been 2 records, but I remember it that way. And I absolutely loved that record. And then later on, there was a man named Gene Ulrich from Faith, an old cowboy singer. And I don't even know why he would come to visit our place, but he was in this. He would come drive out in this single cab Chevy pickup with a topper on it, and there were 2 Guild guitars in the back. Dreadnoughts, I knew that. Like Harlan Allen's, if you've seen that episode of my show. And when he would show up, he wouldn't ask me, and I wouldn't ask him. I would just go out and get his 2 guitars and bring them in the house. He was going to play guitar when I was there. When he visited our house. I'm sort of nervous too, Grace. Did that answer all your questions?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. How long did it take you to learn to play guitar, to pretend to play guitar? You're really good at
it. So, Mom and Dad were told that they should wait to buy me a guitar until I was 12 years old, which is probably not terrible advice. There are lots of kids who start playing guitar earlier than that. And so they got me a guitar when I was 12, and I began, my eye is itchy, I began taking lessons from the neighbor woman, Mary Kay Wilson. And Mary Kay, you are welcome on the show anytime you want to be on the show. So me and my sister Steph would drive down in the old red diesel Suburban, and I would eat blonde sandwich cookies while Steph took a piano lesson, and then Steph would eat blonde sandwich cookies while I took a guitar lesson. And I tried for 14 years to play guitar, how we say, right-handed, before a plumber from Chadron, Nebraska, actually pointed out that I should be a left-handed guitarist. And so I turned the guitar around and relearned it as best I could. So I've probably been playing guitar in total 30 years now.
Tell us about this guitar here.
Aha! Well, this guitar right here is a Danelectro U2. Somebody scrubbed all of the decals off besides the Danelectro logo on the headstock. I believe that this is I'm getting a little nerdy for my nerdy audience. I believe that this is a first reissue of this guitar. So the Danelectro U2 in the 60s, there was a huge explosion in the popularity of guitar, and many people, many companies tried to design affordable guitars that they could sell to the masses. And this was one of the most commercially successful ones. It's a very, well, again, this is a reissue, But a very, very interesting guitar. This body is made out of Formica. Nobody really knows. It's super lightweight. Concentric volume and tone knob. And the iconic lipstick pickup. There is a story which could be apocryphal that the day they were going to start making pickups for these guitars, that a truckload of surplus lipstick tubes showed up. And so they wired up the pickups and threw them in the lipstick tubes. That could be wrong. Other interesting features of this guitar, the aluminum nut, and one other thing besides how light it is. After playing like a Les Paul or something for several hours, you want a lighter guitar, although I don't have a Les Paul. But anyway, this guitar is wired in series instead of parallel, which means that when you have the pickup selector in the middle position, you are essentially playing both pickups together like a humbucker, and it gives you a volume boost. Also, I have purchased this guitar twice, Grace. I bought it, I believe the first time, it was either from Elderly Instruments in New York or Southside Guitars in Brooklyn. Online, I think it was through gbase.com. I actually called them and sent a check. Her name is Karina, by the way, because that was the person who answered the phone. And then later on I sold it, and then I was in a band, and I thought, you know, I really need a backup guitar. And I thought, man, I wish I could find that Danelectro, because it was so lightweight, and it had the volume boost, and just a perfect backup guitar. And I walked into a pawn shop here in Rapid City, Fairdale Pawn, on East North Street, and there it was hanging on the wall. It was the exact same guitar. I know, number one, because it's a left-handed pea green Danelectro U2, but if that weren't enough, somebody before me had made these marks on the knobs for whatever reason. So there it was, with the same gig bag that it came with from New York, and they took $100 off of the purchase price.
Did you make any modifications to it, and do they help you pretend to play better?
What a great question, Grace. Yes, they do. Absolutely. So the only thing that is not original on this guitar, in an effort to keep the cost down, the original Danelectros had this really goofy bridge. It was just a pot metal plate that floated on 3 screws. And then there was a rosewood shingle over it that the strings went over. And it was horrible for intonation, and it was prone to bridge sag, where it would literally bend in the middle, and it had bent when I got it back after I purchased it from the pawn shop. And then I went to restring it. So I got a replacement, stronger Danelectro Bridge, and I put it on. I went to restring it, and there were just 6 notches in the back. So you had to bend the string. You really needed like 5 hands to restring it. And I was like, we are not doing this. And so I got a Wilkinson cut-off telly bridge. And if you're going to do this, I was talking to Mike Andrew, if he's watching, in Bismarck, North Dakota, about this. You have to make sure it's a top-loading telly bridge. This one is both. It can be a string-through body or a top loader, but it has to be a top loader. And I had Scott Pack down at Haggerty's put this on. And if you'll notice, I don't know if they can see on camera, apparently the fine folks at Danelectro had put the bridge in the completely wrong spot on this guitar, because Scott moved it quite a ways. You can see the old screw hole where the old bridge was. And I trust Scott Pack that is center and 25.5 inch. Also, he was extremely impressed when you put this on. It improved the intonation ability of these guitars immensely, which these guitars are known for having terrible intonation. So yeah.
What intonation is this?
Oh, well, this pedal, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Well, this pedal is, because we love pedals on the show, I had been kind of thinking I needed a chorus pedal. And I found this little bugger at Henry's Music Works. It is a Behringer digital multi-effects pedal. There's a whole bunch of people screaming right now online. This thing is more fun than setting off a packet of M80s under Grandpa's bedroom window. It is truly amazing. There's a great video online on YouTube, JHS Pedals, explaining the Behringer line and how they're not that bad. So it's got 6 effects, and they're all usable. You can get this thing really wonky. There are lots of unusable sounds. There are plenty of usable sounds too. And it's got stereo ins and outs, and it was everything I needed. And it was $30. And this, were you going to ask about this next?
Sure.
I bought this to practice with. I moved into a tiny apartment, and the interior walls might as well be dollar store shower curtains. And so I bought this to practice with, and then promptly started suffering from the effects of carpal tunnel syndrome and have not used it much. But it is a Boss Katana Mini, and it is, I mean, this little rig that we have here, this pedal and this amp, are just way too much fun. It's digital or solid state. It's no high-end thing, but it sounds great, as you're going to see. And it has delay, and it has 3 gain settings. And it can get surprisingly loud. And we have my turtle here. You started
Don't
me.
forget the Turtle Rock.
And the Turtle Rock, which Patty bought me. Thank you, Patty Jo.
And then gave it to me, and then I gave it to him.
Right, exactly. This, by the way, is my daughter, Grace Ann Trapp, who is hosting the show. But anyway, you were the one that started me hanging turtles on my amplifier. You bought me one for Christmas several years ago.
Actually, you bought it.
Well, I did. But you gave it to me after I purchased it with my money. And you originally... Well, never mind. But anyway, so I have a turtle hanging on my deluxe reverb amplifier, and you named it Kia, which is Lakota for turtle.
Not intended at all.
So anyway, this one here was made, I can give her a shout out. I did pay money, but it was made by J.C. Frederick Thunderhawk, who lives here in Rapid City. And I think the amp turtles really add to the tone.
Anything else we need to talk about?
I don't think so.
Thank you, Jesus. I thought I never stopped talking. Okay, are you ready? Remember our sponsorship with Trask Hay LLC. We've got a fall precipitation. If you might have a hay crop next year, call Joe 605-515-0858. I'm Grace Ann, and my sister Patty says change your strings.
Are you ready? What am I playing?
Stuck in the middle with you.
Oh, right.
I'm so scared that my whole element killed, and I don't know how to get instead. Close to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle of you. Yes, I'm stuck in the middle of you, and I don't know what else I should do. I'm just trying to make sense of it all. But I see it makes no sense at all. Close to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle of you. You might want to look at the camera and say, well, you started out with nothing, and the girl was something made. And the people come up and they slap you on the back, saying, breathe, breathe. something ain't right. I'm so scared I might fall out of my chair, and I don't think I can get down the stairs. Clouds to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you.
Man, that was great. Thanks for being on the show, Marty. See you next week.